Welcome to part 2 of our Little Ruby Sew Along. If you haven't seen part 1, check it out on the Fat Quarter Shop YouTube channel. We're going to be making strip sets. First, you're going to sew your fabric B strips to your fabric A strips, and you're going to press open. And then you're going to use a starch. I like to use a lot of starch and make sure it completely dries until you go to the next step, and that's going to give it some stiffness because we are going to be working with bias seams. You're going to make 54 of these strip sets. Then we're going to be cutting 6 solid and 6 triangles. We're going to be also using the same double strip ruler, and this time you're going to place your dotted line on your center seam and the solid line on the bottom, and we're just going to cut. And again, I'm cutting towards myself. I have my hand right on the ruler where it will not slip. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can definitely move it around however you like. I've been quilting a long time, and that just works for me. And turn my strip around, and I'm just going to start cutting from the other end. This ruler is really nice because it's got a circle right here, and that's going to get you a full cut. Kind of scared me at first, but it works great. From each of your strip sets, you're going to cut 6 print triangles and 6 solid triangles. So you can actually make 2 quilts out of all of the triangles we just made. Your print triangles will make quilt 1, and your solid triangles will make quilt 2, but you're going to add extra backing if you want to make quilt 2. So first, we're going to be working with our print triangles. I have them all laid out exactly like they would be, and we're going to make these in half. So this will be the top half and the bottom half. I'm going to show you how you sew together your top half, and you're going to use that technique throughout. I'm going to put these 2 right sides together, and I'm going to pin and I'm going to turn it over, and this triangle right here should fit perfectly, and we're going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm using RF Full Color 2000, a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and a 1.8 stitch length. I'm going to go really slow since I'm working with bias edges. Now we're going to iron, set your seam, and press to one side, and then we're going to press open. Now you're going to see a lot of dog ears. Do not trim them off until you're adding the next piece to that area. So this is what we're going to add next. We're going to put this right sides together, and you're going to see this tail coming off, so you'll cut this one only. And when you line up, there's a little tail coming off, and you want to line up the previous triangle right on top of it, and that's going to help you keep it nice and straight. And when you turn it over, this should be lined up. Pin a couple of times, and again, we're going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and press open. Now we sewed this unit and pressed open, and this is the top half. Then you're going to make the bottom half, and you'll see you use 2 different fabrics 3 times, and you just have to watch the placement. Now I'm going to trim these little dog ears in the very center. First, I trim the triangle. I flip it over, and you're going to see a little triangle sticking out, and I'm going to trim that. It's just going to reduce the bulk for later. So you're going to trim this one and this one. And for this quilt, you're going to use 54 top and 54 bottom. Now, you do not sew them together at this point. Leave them separate. This is for quilt 1, and if you also want to make quilt 2, this is your placement, and you're going to see how one is predominantly dark and one is predominantly light. So that's it for part 2 of the Little Ruby Sew Along. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be notified when part 3 is available when we assemble the quilt. Thanks for watching.